big numbers, big numbers. 100 million bag, that's a big number. Big numbers, big numbers. Whole team counted, that's a big number.
Hey, foreign cars, foreign bras, foreign seats with the foreign leather.
All right, No Look Podcast, your boy Yo Soy, the man. Goddamn, we are coming from you from a pre-recorded episode, Tyler, our new thing, starting 2022. First and foremost, let me say welcome to 2022, right? Our first podcast of the new year. Per
New time,
Danny
new place,
NASCAR.
same podcast.
Yep. So we're gonna be pre-recording after the Sunday games, and then we're gonna air it on, I believe he said Monday, right?
Tuesday.
All right, well, close enough. During the week, give you a little bit of flair. And so I think this is a good idea, though, Tyler, because now the games are fresh on our mind. A lot of things we can talk about because, we said it last week, the witching hour, and I'd say for the most part today definitely, provided some good entertainment.
Yeah, there was a lot of teams that playoff destinies were created, and there was a lot that lost those opportunities to be in the playoffs this year. A few teams that got eliminated, a few teams that are still hanging by the thread of their shoes, one of which being the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
And big news, I mean, we might as well start with the game that just ended, Austin.
Yeah.
Since I mean it's fresh on our minds. The Packers beating the Vikings. Now the NFC goes through Lambeau, and I want to get your instant reactions and how you feel as a Packers fan.
Well, as you can see, Tyler got the Devontae jersey on, scored a touchdown, broke his own record for most receptions in a season, Green Bay Packer team history. Excuse me. But I feel great. I'm ecstatic right now. Anytime you get that home field advantage in the playoffs, it definitely feels like it's an advantage, to say the least. Packers this year, Tyler, the only team to be undefeated at home. So, I mean, if they keep that streak up, they're going to be going to the Super Bowl. So I'm definitely happy about that. They look good tonight, obviously. Kind of about what I expected. Offense started a little bit slow. They got down to the red zone a couple times, stalled, field goal, went for it on fourth down, which I didn't hate, right? I like that. You got Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon. Might as well go for it. 3 yards, you should be able to pick it up. They didn't get it. But really, it was more of a testament to, like, Kirk Cousins being out. They had Sean Mannion in at quarterback. The Vikings offense didn't really get anything going. They had a garbage time touchdown. I forget who scored. Maybe it was Osborne or something. But back to your point.
It was KJ Osborne.
Back to your point, the road to the Super Bowl in the NFC goes through Lambeau, and I honestly couldn't be happier, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, I did see one statistic on Sunday Night Football where from I think it was all the years leading towards 2001 or 2002, they were 21-0 in the playoffs at home. And then from 2002 on, they were 7-6 in games that were at home. And two of those games, they were 1-1 or 1-2 or something like that when they were the number one seed. So maybe a little something to be worried about. I mean, obviously the Packers are longest historic team in the NFL, so a lot of those stats from the 40s and of yesteryear are kind of irrelevant. But I want to ask you if there's one team that you think that's gonna take away the Packers' chances of making it to the Super Bowl, who is it gonna be? Who are you most afraid of?
I can't really say I'm afraid of anyone. Maybe before today I would have said the Cowboys, but obviously they lost in close fashion to the Cardinals, who we beat earlier in the year. I got nightmares about the 49ers, Tyler, from the NFC Championship game. They definitely have the type of roster and game style that really the Packers don't match up well against. But with all that being said, it's got to be the Bucks, right? I mean, anytime Tom Brady is on the other side of the ball, you got to be a little bit worried. Goes back to back, passing 40 touchdowns in a season, first time in his career. He's, the team is good no matter who they got. There's some starters are out, but we'll get into that. Defense is still solid, but yeah, I'd have to say the Bucks solely because of Tom Brady, which is kind of crazy. I'm saying that.
Yeah, I mean, he's 44 years old, and I saw the stats today. He has, I think it's 40, I think it's 4,900 passing yards. So he's almost at 5,000. Obviously, he'll have next week to hopefully get that. And then he has like 40 touchdowns
Mm.
with like 12 interceptions, 100 passer rating at 44 years old. In my opinion, Austin, it's insane. Obviously, you shake your head just out of disbelief, but in my opinion, he has to be, just in consideration of the person he is, how old he is, the greatness. He has to be my front runner for MVP.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna mention. It's funny we're in 2022 now, but we still got Rodgers and Brady, top two candidates for the MVP position. Brady, like you said, he owns the stats. He's got first place in yards and touchdowns. Rodgers has the best passer rating. So, they're both up there. Obviously, the Packers as a team having a little bit better year. Rodgers has a better touchdown interception ratio, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Two games we'll get into before the next one. Falcons lost to the Bills in a snowy tundra game in Buffalo. And then the Giants lost to the Bears in an absolute blowout. Mike Glennon looked absolutely terrible today. I think he had like 5 turnovers or something at some point going against the team that paid him $18.5 million or however much they paid him. But those were the two earlier games. The next game we'll get into is the Chiefs at the Bengals. Probably, as we said last week, one of the biggest games in the AFC. The Bengals obviously won that by a field goal late at the end. Absolutely chaotic ending to that game, Austin.
Mm.
I think the Bengals tried to score like 5 or 6 times, twice with Joe Burrow, who at the end of the game didn't even have his last name attached to the back of his jersey.
Hmm.
Then they tried, rushing with Joe Mixon. He got stuffed. They tried passing it. There was, pass interferences, this and that, face masks, stuff like that. Then they need the ball and, kick the field goal for the win. And I mean, now you see the Bengals, they clinched the AFC North. The Chiefs are still in second. Obviously, they clinched the AFC West. So it's in, KC at 2, Cincinnati at 3. How big of a win was this for the Bengals, do you think?
I mean, it was huge. All year long, you and I have been critical of them and, that division as a whole. But, Joe Burrow came out and really silenced the haters. He threw for almost 1,000 yards, in today and last week combined. He's really just showing like he is a true competitor. He is a winner at the end of the day. And also that helps with the weapons he has. We saw Jamar Chase breaking. The stat was weird. I know he broke the most receiving yards in a game as a rookie, but then they were saying,
262.
yeah, and then they were saying like most yards receiving in a season as a rookie, but like since the Super Bowl era. So that's always one of those weird like asterisk type stats.
And then they gave you the stat of most QB to wide receivers since 1991
Yeah.
that played in college together. It's just like, okay, we don't need that stat.
Yeah, the most touchdown. I don't even know, like to your guy that you're sitting next to in the locker room. It's like, what the hell are we talking about? I don't know, but I mean, the
The guy
Bengals.
you were standing next to in the urinal in the
Yeah,
bathroom.
yeah. The Bengals look legit, and I'm not sure that it means much. They won the division. I think I'm still not sold that they're the best team. I probably would have said if the Chiefs had won today, they're clearly the best team in the AFC. Now I don't know. Uh, Patriots. Not that we have to talk about that game too much. Completely, slaughtering the Jaguars. The Bills had a good win in Buffalo, like you said. I still think I would put those two alongside the Chiefs ahead of the Bengals. But we know, Tyler, any given Sunday, playoff time comes around. It's all about who comes to play, who's prepared, and who is trying to get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, I think this game was a true testament. I mean, obviously, we've been hard on the Bengals being frauds in the AFC North, just like
Hmm.
everybody else in the AFC North. But I think this is a testament on their team as a complete unit. Obviously, they're electric on offense. They have, probably one of the best tandems in wide receivers with, a bright young quarterback's future. And then you got Joe Mixon, who's been playing a lot better this season than he has in the past. But I
Hmm.
mean, their defense has been more than enough for them, or have done more than enough. I mean, stopping the Chiefs is not an easy feat. You got Kelsey, you got Hill, Pat Mahomes. Is obviously one of the best in the business. But I mean, doing that and also holding them to 31 points isn't easy, especially when, the Chiefs are a super dynamic team. And oh, yeah, also last week they held the team to 14. So, I mean, their defense is playing really well at the right time. I think that's a true testament to how gritty this Bengals team really is. And,
Hmm.
coming in, obviously I thought the Ravens were going to be the best team out of the AFC North, but, the Bengals are proving that they are. And Joe Burt is absolutely killing it.
Joe Bur Yeah, I mean, this is one of those games we wish we could see all the time, Tyler, right? It's, not necessarily that a team won or lost because of a certain reason. It's literally just who had the ball last. The offenses are
Right.
going back and forth throughout the whole game. Bengals, like we talked about, crazy finish. They had the penalty. Joe Burrow getting hurt. It'll be interested to see what happens with that. He kind of limped off. I forget who it was. The backup came in for the couple kneels and the spike. But I mean, obviously, if he can't go, the Bengals are pretty much shit out of luck.
Well, I mean, I think next week the Bengals have, I think they have the Browns. Bengals, where are you? Bengals, yeah,
Yeah,
they're in Cleveland. So,
it's
I
one of
mean,
those
granted,
weird
it's not.
things. Like, yeah, you clinched the division, but now you're kind of fighting for seeding, so you don't need Burrow to play. What.
Yeah, I mean, were they? They're in. God damn this. They're in third place right now. So, I mean, granted, a lot of it's going to be dependent on the outcome of tomorrow's game with the Steelers at Browns, or the Browns at the Steelers. So, I guess we'll have to see on that one to see if Joe Burrow, being out is going to really contribute a lot to that Browns game. But the next game we got Dolphins at Titans. That was a big win for the Titans. They clinched the number one seed in the AFC. I think they clinched the AFC South, and then they clinched the number one seed. I don't know how that's remotely possible when they're tied with the Chiefs, but um, big win for them. 34-3. It was just an absolute rout. I mean, they completely shut down Tua. I think the biggest thing in this game was how well their defense played. Tua, I heard this thing, in the game today where Mike Vrabel, defensive mastermind, was saying how Tua is the only lefty quarterback active in the NFL today. So they were primarily focused on playing against a lefty quarterback, how he runs out of the pocket, all the dynamics of playing against a lefty quarterback. I thought that was pretty interesting, and it showed. I mean, they were definitely prepared for the guy. The Dolphins, they just looked tired from winning 7 games in a row, fighting for their
Hmm.
lives, and they finally ran into a brick wall today.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what we said last week. Thursday's episode, Tyler. Right? The Titans, they're not the same complete team without Henry, and they have injuries obviously throughout the season with AJ Brown. But when you got Vrabel, like a Belichick disciple, and you got all the different coaches and training staff stuff in that organization, it's a winning culture there in Nashville in recent years. So that's just kind of a testament to good coaches getting a good culture in the locker room, guys buying into the organization. And yeah, like you said, crazy, crazy season for the Dolphins. I'd say a lot to build on going into next season, but yeah, 7 game win streak and just to have it all over in a blink of an eye, losing this week's game is you feel for them a little bit, but at the end of the day, that's football. That's football,
Yeah.
baby.
Uh, it's football, baby. I mean, obviously, that eliminates the Dolphins out of playoff contention. So the Dolphins are no longer in, which is sad. I mean, obviously, it was interesting to see a team lose 7 and then win 7 in a row, but I don't think they were as strong. Obviously, a lot to build off of. Their defense was really, really good this year, but didn't have it enough today. Next game we
Mm.
got Raiders at Colts. Austin, absolutely huge win for the Raiders, Raider Nation. I was cursing, I was crying, I was screaming, I was happy, I was joyful, I was a bunch of emotions in the last quarter of that game. They were finally showing it on NFL Red Zone.
Hey, you had
I mean, it
the
was
Jimmy Valvano, right? He's like, if you laugh, cry, and do something in a day, then that's successful. So you had that.
and the Raiders had a successful day. And also, I did call it last week, Austin, or on our last episode. I said the Raiders were going to win on a Daniel Carlson field goal kick. They
Hmm.
did. Obviously, I thought it was going to be on that Hunter Renfro callback that they had for a touchdown. But a win's a win. The Raiders, they did a great job defensively enough to stop Jonathan Taylor. Obviously, Carson Wentz was being pressured a lot. Although I will say, Austin, the one time I did cry was when
Hmm.
Travis Mulring and I forget, I think it was Casey Hayward collided in the end zone together. Like the earth just brought two atoms together and smashed them together to create energy,
Hmm.
and just the ball went into the air, fell into T.Y. Hilton's beautiful catching hands, and he scored a touchdown in the easiest way
Oh
possible.
yeah.
That was not chill.
Yeah, not so chill at all. It's crazy play though. You don't see that happen too often. That's like the stuff you dream of. Or, you practice in the backyard playing flag football. It's like, oh shit, tip drill, catch it. So that was funny. Probably won some fantasy matchups with that one right there.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably one of the top plays of the day. I am proud of the Raiders. There were some times where I was kind of concerned. Derek Carr threw 2 interceptions that were just absolutely atrocious. But I mean, Josh Jacobs had a really good game, over 100 rushing yards again. He is actually the second Raider in history to rush for 1,000 yards in 3 consecutive seasons, after Marcus Allen did it back in, I think it was like the 80s or 90s. So another great season by him. It's not over as we travel, back to Vegas. Big Tim's gonna be there for that do or die game against the Chargers. Both 8-7. Winner goes to the playoffs, or both 9-7. Excuse me. Winner goes to the
Hmm.
playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
As the seventh seed.
as much as I wasn't a fan of watching the Raiders win today, it's almost better in the long run because now, Tyler, you get another week of hope just to go into the matchup against the Chargers and lose, inevitably, so they can move forward into the playoffs and the Raiders can not. We saw in the game, Chargers took care of business against the Broncos. They really showed why they've been, on and off regarded as one of the top teams in the AFC. Herbert was out there slinging it. They got their guys back, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Eckler, I think, had a touchdown. And then we're seeing Justin Jackson, right? Justin Jackson, yeah. Josh Jackson, someone else. I had to make sure, but I'm pretty sure it's Justin Jackson, the other running back. He's looked good last week filling in, and again in that change of pace type role. Not We're not getting our picks yet, but I just had to put that out there.
No, I think it's going to be a very good game. And honestly, Austin, I think the Chargers are a better team all around than the Raiders. I just think that the Raiders at home, Big Tim in attendance. Big Tim is 1-0 with watching the Raiders play in attendance. So,
He's your
I mean,
rabbit's foot.
there's
He's
a
your good
lot
luck.
of energy and voodoo that is going on right now that is kind of forcing the Raiders to almost have to win it. And I mean, they have to dedicate this season to John Madden, RIP. I mean,
Mm.
former Raider, great former Raider coach. I mean, he obviously passed, and everybody's recognizing him. But he said himself, "There's only one team I'd rather coach, and that's the Raiders." So this season, the Raiders they got John Madden on their side, looking down on them from heaven. Big Tim in
Mm.
attendance. I mean, what more could you ask for? In Vegas too.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of signs pointing in the right direction, but so say they do get in. I guess it doesn't really tell what seed they're gonna be at right now because there's still a lot of stuff that can happen. But say, is there anyone that like you think in the next round you could beat? Like
Um,
you get. I don't know how it's gonna shape out.
I will say
Titans
I
are in
don't
the
want to
one
face
seed right
Kansas
now.
City first. I don't
Right.
want to face Kansas City. The one team I do want to face, Austin, honestly, I was thinking about it looking at the standings. I know getting way ahead of myself before, we even get to the playoffs. But there is one team I am looking at that we could possibly face in the first round. That's the Cincinnati Bengals.
Hmm.
That's one team that I think that we match up well with. I think if we have our day offensively, obviously Darren Waller didn't play today. Hopefully he's back next week or whatever the case may be. But I don't think they're good. The Bengals are a good rushing off or rushing defense, and I think
Hmm.
Josh Jacobs can help neutralize that. A lot of it's just dependent on Derek Carr. As I said last week, he can't be making stupid throws. He had two bad interceptions today, and we're very lucky that we got out with a win. I mean, we're facing Carson Wentz, who looked like a shell of himself. Also, I will say, Austin, I want to say one thing.
Hmm.
It just brought back up to me. I was thinking about it today. Marcus the Maserati Mariota coming in today, absolutely electric, further proves my point of why teams should have two quarterbacks, one being that role of the rusher, one being that role of the passer, and I think we have both. I think the Raiders need to utilize Mariota even more than they are. They've been utilizing him the last 2 weeks a lot, but even more than the game that they had today.
As he sits there with his Derek Carr jersey. Oh, I love Derek Carr, but I want to see more Mariota. Might as well go
I wish
take.
I had a Hunter Renfrow jersey.
Might as well go take that jersey off.
I might,
Might as well go take that
but I
jersey
don't.
off.
I don't have a Mariota jersey to put on.
Oh.
You know what? I'll take it. I'll take it off.
Oh no, what's he doing? Oh, he's pumping up the crowd. Where's he going? Oh no. We lost him. It looked somewhat familiar to an event, some actions that happened earlier today. I'm not sure where he's going right now. Wow. We got our podcast mascot just snoozing in the background. There's zero lights on in that apartment right now, but Raiders' testicles are so large I can still see them. There's like it's 2 pixels worth. But anyways, football talk. I'm gonna try to kill some time. Let's see. Today's daily horoscope. If you go out and exercise good, you will live a happy, successful life. And that was today's horoscope talk. Oh, I see someone coming in. Coming back. Oh, is that is that AB? Is that Antonio Brown? He took the jersey off, gave the deuces, pumped up the crowd. I was trying to stall for a little bit, but Tyler doing his best Antonio Brown rendition. This is Tyler, probably the best use out of that jersey you've ever got. Obviously,
I
never
think this
really
is the
worn
first
it.
time I've worn this jersey in like 6 years. I don't know when I got this jersey, 2 years ago, and I think I only wore it once. It fits kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie.
The black looks good on you. I mean, maybe you'll be able to do in the future if someone else gets the number 84. Just do like the Cleveland Browns quarterback type deal where they just put the tape on the back and write a name in.
Yeah, I think Keelan Doss was rocking 84,
Oh,
John Gruden's former wide receiver crush, and then we got rid of him. But yeah, I mean, are we talking about the Bucks now? I mean, we have
yeah,
to at this point.
yeah. I mean, shit. Tyler kind of segued us into that, storming off, chucking up the deuces. Antonio Brown, no longer a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, stormed off during the game, ripped off his jersey, hucked his gloves, his undershirt into the crowd. He ran off, throwing up the deuces, much like Tyler. at first I was like, what's this guy doing? He's just pissed off about something or another. Comes out Tyler, he's like, he's got a lot of incentives in his contract. I think he was 8 catches away from $300,000. He was a touchdown reception away
65
from
yards
$300, 65 yards away from $300,000.
or 55, something
So
like
if he
that.
had gotten all those, that's $1 million right there. And supposedly he was on a limited snap count. I guess I can see where the frustration stems from, but now Tyler, he has zero chance to achieve any of those, and now he's without a job as well.
Yeah, I mean, a few things that stem from this whole Antonio Brown situation. Obviously, the guy's a mental case. He needs to be committed to a mental institution. I mean, right away, pronto. Find the nearest one in East Rutherford, New Jersey, for the guy. This is his. He's burned the bridge of maybe 5 teams now. He's played for the Steelers, burned the bridge, got traded to the Bills, didn't even play. Got traded to the Raiders, didn't even play. Played for the Patriots. You know, one and done there. Now he's burning bridges with the Bucks. He's done there. Bruce Arians said so himself. No longer Buck. Doesn't want to talk about him. But I will say, I mean, there is some underlying issue that is Antonio Brown. Like, this guy has something wrong with him mentally. I don't know whether someone paid him $500,000, said, "Hey, I'll give you $500,000 as a prop bet. You take your shirt off, run off the field, be a crazy lunatic or whatnot." But I mean, at the end of the day, this is just one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in sports, in like, period. Like, this is crazier than Malice in the Palace, in my opinion.
I don't know. That was kind of wild. He got he got Meta out there chucking haymakers with the fans and stuff. I don't know that we'll ever see that again. Excuse me, but and also interesting tidbit about that whole scenario, Tyler. Current and former teammate with the Bucks and Steelers, Le'Veon Bell voiced his I guess his agreement with Antonio, saying "do you" or something of that nature. I think he tweeted or commented on AB's Instagram post. So wouldn't be surprised if Le'Veon is out there looking for another job as well, because AB basically told the Bucks to fuck off, and Le'Veon was basically saying, "I'm riding with you." So we'll
Like,
see what happens with that.
I understand Le'Veon Bell's situation, like, of not liking owners because he didn't get paid by the Steelers or whatever the case may be. But you're in second place in the NFC or third place in the NFC, and your team is potentially going to the Super Bowl, possibly out of the NFC, with one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, who you don't know how many years he has left. You don't know if you're going to be on a team like this ever again, and you decide to make a business decision for yourself and rip off your pads after Mike Evans, the captain of the team, said, "No, don't do that." I mean, you see him on the sideline saying, "What are you doing, man? Like, don't be doing that. Don't be making a fool of yourself." OJ Howard tried to stop him. It's just like, I know that you think you're the Antonio of the past, and he's been playing great all season every time he played, but this is also on you. You sat out 3 games. Well, you didn't sit out. You were suspended 3 games because of your decision on a fake vaccine card that obviously you knew wasn't right going in. That was 3 games you missed. So don't get mad at Coach Arians or Leftwich for putting you on a snap count because it's your first game back, coming back from suspension. This is Antonio Brown. This isn't the Bucks' problem. This is his problem. You lost that $1 million yourself. You're a loser. You're a doo-doo head dummy, and that's all I have to say about Antonio Brown.
Says
I'm
the guy
actually
wearing
sick to
an
my
Antonio
stomach
Brown jersey.
wearing his jersey right now.
No, well said. Yeah, and obviously, hopefully, everything is all right with Antonio Brown. Mental illness, stuff like that. Nothing to joke
Yeah,
about. Serious stuff. Hopefully, he finds some help, and it'll
I
be.
mean, Austin, I would share Dana's number if you have it. We'll put it on the bottom right here. Hopefully, Dana could reach out to Antonio Brown. Maybe he could seek some solace in her or whatever.
AB, I know a great therapist. I can definitely give you her number. She's open to taking in new clients. So if you need someone, I got you. But yeah, it's just it's comical. You see the picture. He's out there, waiting for the Uber or whatever outside the stadium, and the memes today were hilarious. Like there was a meme of someone like hanging on to a plane wing, like, oh, AB trying to get a flight back down to Tampa.
I will say the one thing that was absolutely comical and ironic, Austin, was the person that scored the game-winning touchdown for the Bucks was some guy named Cyril whatever. That was the guy that replaced Antonio Brown.
Right,
So that could have been Antonio Brown. He could have had that incentive money. So
right.
that's another thing that just makes me, it's just like the world works in mysterious ways, and it's just further proving that Antonio Brown, deserves everything that he does to himself.
Yeah, I don't know. We've seen him get a lot of second, third, fourth, however many chances. Who knows if this is the straw that broke the camel's back? I'm not sure that there's many teams out there going to be calling his agent in the off season.
I do know one, Austin, and it's my Orlando Magic of the NFL, and it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll most likely sign him if he wants.
Yeah, they probably would too. Try to
It
give.
wouldn't be a far move. All he has
No.
to do, because he lives in Miami, just go straight up 95, hit Jacksonville, you're there.
Yeah, I mean, shit. That'd be annoying. I was gonna say you can almost make that commute and just live in Miami still,
No,
but yeah.
no shot. You'd have to fly.
Yeah. Eh, it's a cheap PJ. Didn't we look up a private jet one time from Tampa to Miami and it was like 5 grand?
Yeah. I mean, five
Uh,
grand to Antonio Brown, getting that $1 million incentive would be an easy flight from Jacksonville to Miami.
all right, he could have done it for every practice, really.
Yeah.
But
Well, speaking of the Jaguars in Jacksonville, like you said, Austin, they got a 50 burger dropped on them today. 50-10 was the final score. I think this is the first 50 burger of the season.
hmm
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when I saw 50, all I could think of was 50 burger, and I feel like something should happen to a team that either A, scores it, or B, gets scored against a 50 burger.
So you're saying what now? Something should
So
happen.
it something should happen to the team that scores the 50 burger, and or something should happen to the team that gets scored on
Like a
50
Madden
points. I
shutout
mean,
rule.
half a century. I mean, geez, uh, that's a lot of points that scored and being scored against. I feel like the Jaguars should be like punished. Like they should have to play in London for every single away or home game next year, or something like mean like that. Or they should be the away team in their own home stadium for all of next year.
Trevor Lawrence should have to cut his hair.
Oof.
He probably should. He needs a new look. He might look weird with short hair, though. I don't know.
Here's another one. I kind of like this game. You get a 50 burger scored on you, you have to rehire a coach that you just fired, Urban Meyer.
As long as they don't have any more games in Ohio, I think they should be good.
Yeah, until next season at least.
Yeah.
Or the next home game that they have to drain the pool in Jacksonville so no fans can be in the pool while the game's going on.
Or instead of being in the press box, the coaches have to coach from the pool. Just being out there in their bathing suits and their headsets on.
Or what was that? Doug Marone would have liked that because he was always in the pool.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember,
Next game we
yeah.
got Austin. Well, next game we got Eagles at Washington. Obviously a big game for the NFC East. Eagles got that dub 20-16, putting them in 7th place in the NFC. So obviously that was a huge game for them, eliminating Washington. I think they were already eliminated. I didn't really see much of this game. I did see, the final score and the final, drive where the Eagles kind of solidified it. I know I did say during live, Austin, when I was watching it, I'd rather watch lingerie football than the NFC East play. I
hmm
think I was a few drinks deep at that point, but what were your takeaways on this game?
Yeah, I didn't watch much of it firsthand. I didn't watch any of it all. I was watching the Rams Ravens. I pretty much just saw highlights of the other games around the NFL. But I will say, almost the most Philadelphia thing ever happened today. I'm sure you saw it, Tyler, but if you didn't, as Jalen
I
Hurts
did see it.
is leaving the field. He's out there, he's going into the tunnel and he's putting his hand up, trying to high five the Eagles fans on both sides. The Eagles fans on the one side, because there's so many of them, are leaning over like this raggedy fence, break the fence down, tumble onto the ground, almost like tearing Jalen Hurts ACL. That would have been the most Philadelphia thing ever. It's like, oh, we finally got a decent quarterback. He might take us to the playoffs. Oh, Eagles fans almost tear his MCL and ruin their whole hopes.
That's like a episode of Always Sunny where like Dennis and all of them they're just fighting over trying to get an autograph with Jalen Hurts, and then the whole entire fence area falls. I mean, it was kind of funny how it felt because there was four of them or five of them just leaning on this, bleacher, I guess you could
Yeah.
say, and the gate just popped off and they just like fell straight down. And Jalen Hurts, I mean, incredible, awareness. His awareness on Madden should be bumped up to 99 because he was like perfectly stepped back from them, cool, calm under pressure with these guys coming up to them. Security was nowhere to be found. They weren't even like tearing anybody off of them. I would have to say you were right. That has to be probably the most electric part of that whole entire game.
Yeah.
Obviously the Eagles won. It was in Washington, so I mean, Jalen could probably get a lawsuit out of Washington for almost, tearing his ACL and meniscus, but definitely
Yeah.
a crazy sight to be seen.
I mean, nothing crazy. I'm looking at the stats now. Hurts was 17 to 26, 214 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Boston Scott, obviously filling in for Miles Sanders, 14 for 47, two touchdowns. Um, Goddard, 6 for 71, had a decent day. On the other side of the ball, Heineke, not so great. Um, although Antonio Gibson didn't play, so that definitely you can see how they had to rely on Heineke a little bit more. He passed the ball 36 times. One
Yeah,
of
I
those.
saw Jared Patterson had a
Mhm.
touchdown
Yeah, which
early in the game.
I mean, I don't know if he had like a really long run to inflate the stats, but he went 12 for 57 and a touchdown, average 4.8 yards per carry, which is pretty decent.
I think the first run was like a 30 something yard run. But I will say this about Washington, before we move on. I know I said earlier in the season that Heineke, I could see him being a franchise quarterback in Washington. I no longer stand by that. I just want to get that out into the open. I think he's a great role player. I think he'd be a great backup in the NFL.
Oh yeah.
But I think when you get a full season, Austin, that's like your audition, unless you're like a first round draft pick like Trevor Lawrence, like you get that, 2 years, 3 years to really develop because they know how good you were in college. But when you're a guy like Taylor Heineke, you're already behind the eight ball.
I mean,
After the season, they're done. You're done.
no, yeah, you're done, Taylor Heineke. I was never huge on him. I thought he was good in this scenario, but it's just like it's funny to see Tyler. We're talking about great quarterbacks, learning from great quarterbacks and having great careers themselves. We're seeing it right now with Aaron Rodgers learning from Brett Favre. We had Joe Montana, Steve Young. We're maybe seeing the next great backup quarterback learning from one of the best backup quarterbacks of all time in Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's literally like passing the torch not from being, the best quarterback in the league to the next best, but no, the best backup in the league because I feel like that's, he's going to be one of those journeyman guys. And if there's anyone that knows about being a journeyman and playing backup quarterback, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of good quarterbacks coming out of the draft. I've done my research for all I know about college football. So Washington, they might have to go after someone in free agency, or they might have to take a shot at it. But it's not looking good for them in the future, which is sad because their defense I think will be really really good next year too. Next
Yeah.
game we got Austin, an absolute electric game. I've never been more of a Rams fan
Hmm.
than I was today. Rams at Ravens. Absolutely incredible game, I would say, back and forth. Rams coming back to win the game 20-19 on a late OBJ touchdown. Absolutely needed it. Got to have it. Um, Obviously, this was huge for the Raiders. The reason why I was so, for the Rams was I need the Ravens to lose to jump up, and they did. So I was very happy. Matt Stafford, I mean, such a mediocre game today. They didn't really have any run game. Ravens defense was locked down in the first quarter or first half. Chuck Taylor or Chuck, what was his name? Chuck Clark.
Oh yeah. I think
Two
so.
interceptions,
Number
one for a
36, I remember
touchdown.
that.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I
that
mean, the
that throw was
Rams.
egregious.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I'm like, who are you throwing to? Who's there?
Yeah, I mean, he read the route pretty well and kind of undercut the guy, but yeah, I mean, the Ravens, they're gonna look back on the season and it's like, okay, obviously we had the injury to Lamar, but at the same time, I don't know if you can place the blame on Harbaugh, but it's like, how many games are we talking about in the past few weeks that I'm about to look? They've lost within like 2 points. This week they lose by one. Packers 2 weeks ago they lose by one. Browns 3 weeks ago lose by two, and the game before that they lose by one again to the Steelers. So it's like, you know, Harbaugh, the reason why he gets praised and how he's been so successful is he trusts his guys, he takes these risks. Unfortunately, a lot of these 50-50 type scenarios weren't paying off for him.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like going off your point, the Ravens season was doomed from the start. You losing J.K. Dobbins, and they lose. I forget what other running back that they had that they lost, but they were just down and out with numerous players getting injured. Then the COVID injury bug throughout the whole entire season. Lamar Jackson probably playing half the games. But I mean, you're absolutely right. The thing with going for two, I mean, there was two games where if they just kicked a field goal, they are going into overtime and potentially winning those games or flip flopping, one or two games and not having to worry about getting into the playoffs,
Hmm.
even without Lamar Jackson. They have the team, they have a great team, but I mean, this is one of those seasons where you just chalk it up as an L, and it didn't start good from the very beginning. So, it's just one of those seasons. I mean, hey, the Raiders have had those multiple times,
Yeah.
and I'm still here. I'm still here.
Still here, baby. We're talking about not a lot of quarterbacks in the draft, Tyler. Tyler Huntley has probably got to be one of the most sought after players, to bring in. This guy is good. And I'm saying that he probably had his worst game today as a starter, but last week he went out there against the Packers, threw for 200 and two touchdowns. He runs the ball well. He doesn't make many mistakes. I'd say in the right situation, I think he could be I don't want to call him like, it's tough to say franchise quarterback, but I think he's probably worth a starter on some teams.
Yeah, I mean, if I were the Ravens, I would try and keep him just as like that security blanket if Lamar gets hurt or whatnot. But I don't know what his contract, details are. But I think he is a good quarterback in the NFL. He's gritty. He's one of those guys that's super competitive. They've naturally said he's a natural born leader, and I think this offense specifically really helps him with the Ravens as a running type team, a run first, if you will. um, I don't know what other team I could consider him going to. I mean, the Giants need a quarterback. The Falcons may need a quarterback. The Saints. There's a bunch of teams that will need one.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's that guy. But I could see it. I could definitely see him stepping up. Maybe someone gets injured next year, as they always do, and you see Tyler Huntley, putting on a Washington football team jersey. But on the other side of the coin, I will say, I think the last quarter of the Rams, you really saw who the true identity of the Rams were, offensively and defensively. It was actually nice seeing Von Miller get after the quarterback. It was nice seeing OBJ,
Hmm.
catching. He caught like a fourth down ball and then catching that touchdown, to secure the game. So it's nice seeing these guys rejuvenate their careers. I do think they are going to be a tough team in the NFC. I don't think that they're going to win, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough depending on how stuff shakes out. They might have the Niners in back-to-back weeks, who, Shanahan, like I said, always seems to have McVay's number. That'll be a tough one. You know, um, Maybe they get the Eagles. That could probably be best case scenario. But there's some good teams in the NFC side, obviously.
Yeah. Well, speaking of NFC, 49ers beat the Texans, as you said, 23-7. Another big game for the AFC West, was the Chargers beating the Broncos 34-13. Obviously bringing the Chargers to the 7th seed, as we aforementioned. Big game against the Raiders next week. Can't wait. Next game we'll go into a little bit. Cardinals at Cowboys. Final score 25-22. Probably a weird game, probably one of the weirdest scoring games I've seen, but I wish I knew this stat before I went in picking this game. Although I was right on picking the Cardinals last week, Kyler Murray is undefeated in AT&T Stadium,
Right.
and they must have said it like 1,000 times.
Well, they had. That was another one of those stats because he was 8-0, but 5 of those were in high school. I think only one of them was last year in an NFL game in the pros. But funny stat.
Yeah. I feel like the Cowboys, they were kind of lackluster today. Dak Prescott, was playing a little bit above his means, I would say. But, I mean, at the end of the day, the biggest was Kyler doing what Kyler does against a tough Cowboys defense. I actually fell asleep during part of this game. I woke up and, the Cowboys were creeping back and scored that touchdown at the end with Michael Gallup, which ended his season, and the Cardinals ended up getting the W.
Yeah, I mean, really, the Cowboys never got the offense rolling. Prescott, decent game, threw the ball a lot, 38 times. We're used to that. 226, 3 touchdowns. But Tyler, Dak Prescott also led the team in rushing with 20 yards. Zeke went 9 for 16. I don't know what the problem is because they have a good offense. They have a good passing attack where opens up things inside the box, right? They have a good offensive line. How can you not get Zeke the ball? Like, there's got to be something going on. I don't know if it's there's like a zone scheme opposed to a more of a downhill man rushing attack, but something is not going right in Dallas. I'll tell you that much. And on the other side of the ball, again, without DeAndre Hopkins, from what I saw, AJ Green was looking great. Went up against Trayvon Diggs a lot during this game. He only had 3 for 74 yards, but I do remember seeing there was one play that was just past his fingertips that could have gone for another pretty big game, potentially a touchdown. Christian Kirk stepping up. Ertz played well. Chase Edmonds. This is typical 2021 season of football, right, Tyler? Cardinals lose. They have that bad loss to the Lions, right? We're like, okay, they lose to the Colts back-to-back weeks. They're out. And then they come in and beat, the hottest team, at least last week, right? The Cowboys, who had that crazy win against the football team, come into their home stadium. Like we said, AT&T, Kyler Murray remains undefeated. So I don't know what to think. Like, you're asking me before, who am I fearful of in the NFC? It's like, I don't know. What version of these teams are we getting? Are we getting the Cowboys team that Dak's throwing for 300 and Zeke is, rushing for 100, getting these screen plays? The defense that had been playing well all year, are they going to be stepping it up? Are you going to get the team today that loses to a I'd say, slightly above average Cardinals team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Cardinals didn't have James Conner today, don't have DeAndre Hopkins, so they're kind of missing a lot of main pieces that were pretty, important in their success this season, especially in the earlier half of it. I will touch on there was one absolute electric play. Obviously, the fake punt that turned into the one-handed catch of something Ward on the Cardinals, catching the ball, pinning it on the Cowboys helmet, almost like a reverse David Tyree in the Super Bowl for the first down, converting on 4th down. Absolutely electric. Probably the play of the season, in my opinion. I had never seen anything like that. And, we'll probably be seeing that for centuries on end, especially on the Pat McAfee show, showing why special teams is absolutely crucial. Something that the Packers don't know a lot about, special teams,
No, not at all, honestly. They just brought in a new guy tonight, David Moore. They have like, their 10th punt returner of the year. Luckily, he didn't muff any, but shit, they got to figure something out. They almost, I don't know if you saw, they almost muffed was it an extra point or a field goal? Bojorquez, the punter, like didn't get the snap down. Luckily, Mason Crosby like delayed his timing of the
His
kick,
cadence, yeah.
yeah, his cadence, and still got it through the uprights. But man, that's going to be their downfall. Much like we saw in the past that Seahawks game, which I still get nightmares of, the onside kick. But it's like their special teams just shoots themselves in the foot.
I've never thought that special teams was so important until I met you, and you've taught me about the Packers special teams and how bad they are, and it's just like I don't see this with any other team besides the Packers. It's actually quite astonishing.
Yeah, it's just one of those like assets, facets, I guess I should say, of the game. It's like everything is harped on about having a good offense and a good defense, but no one wants to talk about the special teams. It's kind of like I don't know how I want to describe it. It's like the special teams is like the lineman of the, the team. I don't know because it's like a lot of it is won in the trenches, but within that,
It's still very important.
a lot of the game momentum can sway with good and bad special teams like field position on punts and punt returns, kick returns. We've seen, I feel like, a decent amount of kick returns for touchdowns this year. I can't even tell you, Tyler. I watch every Packers game. When the last time they had a kick return touchdown?
Yeah, I mean the Raiders almost had one with Hunter Renfro, put us in great, field position to. I think that was potentially to either tie the game or win the game
Well,
if
there
it
you go.
wasn't for that punt return. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean some other games that happened around the league. Two more: Panthers at Saints. Panthers beat the Saints, or the Saints beat the Panthers at home. Saints are still in playoff contention. I don't know how, but they are. Panthers started Sam Darnold, Austin,
Yeah.
went with Cam Newton for like maybe one play. So we're back on the horse with Sam Darnold. And then last game that we had, Lions at Seahawks. Actually, Seahawks put up a 50 burger themselves too. So two 50 burgers in 1 week.
Hey,
Um,
only took
I
us
mean,
17 weeks, right?
yeah, absolutely incredible. Rashad Penny, by the way, fantasy won a lot of people fantasies. Probably one of the greatest acquisitions
Hmm.
of the later portion of of fantasy league. I will say, awesome, one thing about the Seahawks, and I know I've said it multiple times. I cannot stand DK Metcalf's attitude. What is this guy's deal? What's his issue? I don't get it. The guy walks around like he's some stallion, like he's been doing all these great things all season,
Oh.
and he's got his head down, and he's just, and then he catches a touchdown. He doesn't even celebrate. He's not even happy. His team drops 51 points. He just act like his great grandmother died, who made the best sugar cookies and chocolate chip cookies that he'll remember for the rest of his life. And he's mad, and I just don't like the guy. I'm officially beefing with DK Metcalf. I don't like him. I know he could probably kick me onto the out of the earth's crust, but this half of the No Look podcast, Austin, is beefing with DK Metcalf. Change your attitude.
Listen, when you look like a freaking Greek god, you can do whatever the fuck you want. I mean, this dude's got abs of steel. I mean, he's a freak. Hey, don't listen to Tyler, DK. I'm on the free DK train. If you want to win some games, potentially a Super Bowl, come on over to Green Bay. We got a good spot for you on the other side of Devontae Adams. Oh man, I just hitting the desk underneath just thinking about that scenario.
Yeah, they're gonna raise the common stock prices of the Packers from $300 to $750 per share to afford DK Metcalf because they're franchising Devontae Adams. I heard.
Yeah, that's what the rumor is. That I'm not gonna get into any Packers off-season stuff yet. We're still in this football season. We still have the same goal to win the Super Bowl. I am not worried about the future, Tyler. As you know, second Dana shout out of the podcast, as she likes to tell me, live in the now, live in the moment. That's what I'm trying to do. So I'm not thinking about anything in the future right now.
Well, why are you talking about DK coming to the Packers then, my guy?
Got me there. A guy
Last
can
game this.
dream, can he?
Yeah, that's true. Hey, I wanted Devontae when I saw franchise tag. That my heart sunk into my balls. I was pissed.
Just yeah,
Last game we
keep
got
dreaming.
Browns at the Steelers. Obviously, that's going to be a Monday night game. Austin, are you still with the Browns, or do you want to jump over to the Steelers bandwagon with me?
Nah, I won't change my pick.
All right.
I'll leave it. I'm
I
not
would
gonna
have
mess with
allowed.
fate. I'm not gonna do
I
the
would.
last minute tinker.
Okay. Well, this week, week 17, I went 13-2 on my picks. Austin went 9-6. I
Mm.
think that's if I look back, I'm sure I could find that is the highest win amount throughout a week this season on all of our picks. I'm flabbergasted. I'm happy. Hopefully, the Steelers can help me propel to 14. But let's get into week 18. Quick fire picks.
Yeah.
Uh, First, we got the Saints at the Falcons. Austin, I'm riding with the Saints. Who you got?
Do you want to like just go down all your picks and then I'll go down all my picks? Or do you
Well, no,
want
because I don't really have any of them picked. I was hoping that we could do this together.
to? Okay. Okay, so what'd you start with?
Saints at Falcons. I have the
Saints
Saints.
at Falcons. I'll go with the Falcons. I don't think the Saints are gonna make the playoffs either way, and I think the Falcons might just come out and play spoiler for this one.
Jets at Bills.
I mean, if we're not doing spread, this is a layup. I'm gonna have to go with the Bills.
I'm gonna have to
Even
agree
though
with you on
the,
that.
the Jets played good football for 3 quarters, and then they were like, "Wait, we're the Jets. What are we doing? We're playing good football."
I do think that the Bills are a very interesting team this year because they also played really bad in the first like 3 quarters and then found their identity. I think Josh Allen had 3 interceptions at one point in the first half.
Right.
Maybe it was the first 3 quarters, but they really need to pick it up. I mean, I think the spread on this game was like 14, but obviously everything's going to change, so we're just going to do straight pick 'em. So yeah, I'm going to agree with you on this one. I think the Bills win this. They need to win this for seeding purposes, to see where they land. Next game we got Bengals at Browns. Austin, who do you got?
We gotta go with the bank. Sheesh. Hold on, hold on. See, this is where it gets interesting because the Bengals obviously already clinched the division. Not sure if Joe Burrow is gonna play next week. I think I'm gonna go Browns actually, because there's a little bit of like a mystery behind it. I almost like it, Tyler. It's like we did our fantasy draft so early in the season, a lot can happen, and making the picks for next Sunday this early, I kind of like the mystery behind it. So I'm
I'm
gonna
going
go
to agree
Browns.
with you. I'm going to agree with you on this one, Austin. I want to go with the Browns
Oh, fuck
purely
you.
be purely because I think if the Bengals lose, the Raiders might be able to get them in the first round if the Raiders win.
You're just
So
you're just picking everything I pick, so there's no chance I can beat you in the overall total.
that's not true at all. I
Uh,
was gonna pick the Browns regardless because I need the Browns to beat the
all right, then
Bengals so the
switch my
Raiders could
pick.
potentially. All right, so
I'm
you're going
switching. I'm
Bengals.
going Bengals now. Yeah, I need to make up some games on you, and this is one I could see going either way. So
I mean, you can't be switching picks, dude. That's not a good. It's not a good look.
I can do it on the episode. I'm not gonna do it after
Okay,
the
fine.
fact.
All right, Austin. Next game, Packers at Lions. Who you got?
Well, again, who knows what's gonna happen? They already clinched the number one seed. I highly doubt we're gonna see Rodgers. I don't know how much of the offense plays, but Um, I'm still gonna ride with the Packers. I'm almost gonna be interested to see how Jordan Love in his second start, what he can do against a more mediocre team.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. Going with the Packers on this one, a kind of a layup game, Austin. I'm just picking
No,
your
no.
picks. I am intrigued though because I do think Jordan Love is gonna start for the Packers next week. He'll probably
Oh,
get
for
his
sure.
first win.
Yeah.
First win as a Packer. Also indoor. We may see Jordan Love might like the indoors a little bit better.
Mm.
Maybe potentially getting the Packers to go on Tyler's hybrid stadium idea. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
possibility. Next game we got Patriots at Dolphins. Austin, I'm going with the Patriots on this one. I don't really love the pick, but because I kind of want the Dolphins to win to cause a lot of chaos, but I don't see the Patriots losing.
Yeah, unfortunately, I gotta agree with you on this one. I don't think the Dolphins are causing any chaos. The last time the Dolphins caused chaos is when the dolphin got stolen in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
It would
Since
be
no,
it,
I
it
was
would
pretty
be a
much
real
done.
shame, Dolphins, a real shame, Dolphins, if you cause chaos and beat this Patriots team for the Raiders. It'd be a real shame if you beat them. Just real shame. Next game we got Bears at Vikings. I don't care. Austin, pull up the coin flip. Pull it up.
Pull it up.
Actually, keep it up because for the next two games we're gonna need it.
All right, let me pull up the screen. Oh, somehow my inputs got mixed up, so your face is on the big one and the coin flip's on the one that says Tyler. Anyways, what do you want?
Do you like what you see?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna go Vikings are heads, Bears are tails.
Okay, flipping it. Heads.
Sweet. So I'll take the Vikings.
Okay,
You riding
and
with me?
no, I will automatically fade you and take the Bears.
All right.
The
Next
Bears are
game
the
is
Bears are good when nothing's on the line. They can just go out there like today. We saw them obviously a pretty beat up Giants team, but it's like they go out there the week before they beat the Seahawks, but they're already eliminated from the playoffs, so it doesn't fucking matter.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think the Vikings will probably have Kirk Cousins back. It might be a little bit different of a scenario. Who knows who's going to be playing at this point? The season doesn't matter for either of these teams at this point. So, next game, Washington at Giants. Austin, same thing. Home team heads, which is the Giants. Away team tails in Washington. Who do I have?
Okay, flipping the coin.
Please,
You
tails.
have the tails.
Yes, I will take the Washington football team then.
I
Are you
no,
fading or are you
I can't
agreeing?
fade that one. The Giants are
I was
falling
gonna
apart
say
more than
how
Washington football team's stadium. You guys are
how
just
crazy
terrible.
yeah. How crazy do you want to be?
No.
Next game we got Austin Cowboys at Eagles.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go with the chaos on this one, Austin. I'm
Hmm.
gonna ride with the Eagles. I don't love this pick. I don't love this game. I don't love either of these teams. The NFC East is an absolute dumpster fire. I think Jalen Hurts saw life flash before his eyes today. He's gonna appreciate the little things, and he's gonna try and strive to get to the Super Bowl and beat this Cowboys team. So I'm riding with the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't know. This one's kind of a toss up for me. I think the Eagles a little bit hotter right now. Cowboys, they're almost going back to the drawing board. I don't really know what to make of them, but I will go with the Cowboys. I could see this one going either way, so I would love to fade you on this one and get the win. I mean, I don't know what's going on right now. Cowboys literally just have to play the football they've been playing the previous 16 weeks. For some reason today they forgot that, but I still think they're a better team.
Wow, so they just flexed all the games, Austin, mid-show. The
Really?
two games on Saturday, yeah, the two games on Saturday are the Chiefs at the Broncos and this game, the Cowboys at the Eagles, are going to be on Saturday.
I
Do you
was
want to
looking
guess
at
what the
that.
sun?
Yeah.
You want to guess what the Sunday night game is?
Raiders Chargers.
Damn, Big Tim. Don't, Dad, you don't have to rush to get to the game, my guy. It's gonna be all night. Gonna get wasted at the Venetian and maybe see some strippers and do some cocaine and have some good times.
I hope Big Tim. I just see him like on a celebrity cam, standing up there in the booth next to Lil Jon, just fucking drinking a fucking Bud Light or something.
Drinking a crunk. You remember those things, those energy drinks that Big Lil John used to have?
No, I
uh,
I
Good
don't.
times.
Yeah,
No, look it up.
a
Next game we
crunk.
got Panthers at Bucks. I'm going with the Bucks on this one. Somewhat of an easy pick. With or without AB, it don't matter. Mike
Yeah,
Evans looking incredible today.
yeah. Must have used one of those hyperized massagers on the hamstring because he was looking pretty good out there. I mean, yeah, it's Tom Brady. Like I said, Tyler, it doesn't matter who he's throwing to. He's got Evans still. He's got Gronk. He'll be okay, and the Bucks will get it done.
Yeah, Panthers are probably the most unorganized team I've seen all season. Maybe more than the Jaguars and Lions because they have the talent.
Yeah.
They just don't know how to use it.
Well,
Next game we
I saw
got.
an interesting stat, not to cut you off or get
Okay.
too far into
No,
it.
you're good.
The Panthers actually have the second-ranked defense in the NFL throughout the season.
I
Which,
don't doubt that. I mean, they have
yeah,
Stephon Gilmore. They have Yetur Gross-Matos, former Penn State great. They
what
have
a
a
name.
lot of yeah.
Put him up there with
Say that
Peony for the greatest names in the NFL.
That one always gets me. I
Good
don't
old
know
Peony
why.
Sewell.
Oh god.
Uh,
They got a good defense though.
yeah.
As
Well,
long as Penny Sewell's not blocking out in front of him, they're good.
maybe McCaffrey could
Next
use a
game,
good Peony on his team. I don't know.
next game we got reel it in. Colts
Uh,
at Jaguars. Who you got, Austin?
Colts at Jag. I mean, come on now. This is an easy one. Colts still alive in the playoff hunt. The Jaguars. I'd be surprised if they show up to this game after the ass beating they just took from the Patriots. Honestly, I would want to just stay home, watch season 2 of The Witcher on Netflix, and fucking cry at how much of a disgrace my football team is.
This is another one that I have to go with the Colts or the team I don't want to go with, but it would be a real shame if the Colts somehow lost this game against the Jaguars in Jacksonville. Be a real tragedy. Next game we got
I don't
Steelers
like
at
how you're like
Ravens.
picking it and then you're just throwing this other scenario into the universe. I don't
It would
like it.
just be it'd be a terrible shame if somehow the Colts lost this game against the Jaguars. It'd be awful. It'd be terrible. I'd hate to see it.
You're like fucking Bart Simpson. You're just wishing pain on everyone in the world for your own enjoyment.
Well, what do you expect? I've been beaten and kicked on and stepped on as a Raiders fan my whole entire life. I just want one thing, and that's to make the playoffs. That's all I care
How
about.
many voodoo dolls you got in your closet that before bed just poking with a needle and lighting on fire?
Well, you see, every time I go to New Orleans, which I've gone the past, 3 years, I guess you could say, I get usually about 5 or 6 of them. So do the math.
Well, how many years you said? 4, so it's like 20 to
3.
20. Oh, okay, so 15 to 18. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Next
So,
game we
not
got
bad.
Steelers at Ravens. Austin, do you still have the coin flip game up?
If you get, by the way, if you got a voodoo doll for me, can you scratch my ass real quick? It's starting to itch a little bit. Uh, sorry, reel it in. Going back to the coin flip. What do we got here, honey?
Ravens are heads, Steelers are tails.
Okay,
Potentially Big Ben's last game of his career.
it is heads.
I got the Ravens. Fuck.
Oh, what do I want to do here? Damn, I don't know. Again, we have no idea if Lamar is gonna play. Maybe Big Ben's last game. Even though they could somehow still make the playoffs. Although not that crazy, right? Because what? Well,
Well, the
wait.
Ravens need the Steelers to
Oh, they gotta
lose,
win
right?
tomorrow, and then they. Huh? Yeah, because they're gonna have. No, wait. Yeah, that makes sense. If they beat the Ravens, and then yeah, they would be in. No.
No.
Sorry,
So
I'm confused. I think the Colts gotta lose or something because obviously the winner of the Chargers Raiders is going to the playoffs, and then
yeah,
so
so
they
the
would have to the
Steelers
Colts lose. Yeah.
yeah, so the Steelers, if they beat the Browns tomorrow, the Ravens are automatically eliminated. But if the Browns win, then the Ravens still technically have a chance.
Huh. Wow. So it's always interesting the way they got this matchup. But I love
It's like
the
it's like
the,
that
the graphics they put up.
that yeah.
Oh.
What?
Like the
I was
graphics
saying
and
from
on a little delay here. Deal with us, people. What are you saying? I'm saying nonsense. So.
it's like that GIF where Zach Galifianakis with the pie charts and everything like that. When you're trying to think of
Oh
playoff
yeah, yeah,
scenarios.
yeah. Okay, I gotcha. I was just talking
If you ever do
about.
that to me again, I'm gonna I can knock you out.
What? I wasn't doing it on purpose. It was just delayed, and I was literally about to say something.
So who you got?
Steelers.
Okay.
Big Ben rides off into the sunset on his fucking
Or in or into the nearest bar.
Budweiser mobile.
Next game, Austin Titans at Texans. I kind of want to go with the Texans on this one,
Please
but
do.
I think that the Titans are going to play some of their guys to further themselves into that number one seed. So I'm going to ride with the Titans on this one.
Yeah, I mean the Texans got lucky last week against the Chargers. They came out today, showed their true colors. So I'm a ride with the Titans.
Chiefs at Broncos. Who do you got?
I mean it's an easy one. You got to go with the Chiefs. Still
Yeah, I'm
still
gonna,
fighting
I'm
for
gonna
that number one seed.
I'm gonna agree with you on this one. Drew Lock is not the answer for the Broncos. Although he did say, and I quote, "If I'm not gonna quote, I'm gonna paraphrase." He says, "If I'm not the guy for this team, I'm gonna be a guy for someone else's team. I don't think you'd be a guy for anybody's team, my guy." So
You're not that guy,
I'm
pal.
going with the Chiefs. Yeah, you're not that guy. Next game, Niners at Rams, Austin. Obviously, a pretty big game for the NFC West in terms of seeding. Is there any implications if anybody wins or loses in this one?
Um, yeah, well, let's see.
Niners are sitting in sixth. Rams are in second.
Wait,
So
this
really, it's
Oh, okay. This I'm looking at the like playoff picture on the NFL.com standings, and it has the Niners in sixth right now,
yep,
but they didn't clinch the playoffs. But
yep.
somehow the Eagles are in seventh, but they clinched the playoffs. How does that make any sense? I don't know. But so yeah, potentially the 49ers could miss out on the playoffs. Rams also sitting in the number two seed right now. So, with a loss and a Bucks win, they would take over the two seed, which, a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a good chance, Tyler, that the Rams and the 49ers play each other in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is that if San Francisco, the reason why San Francisco is in sixth is because of their division record, and the Saints are, if the Saints win and the 49ers lose, that's how they would flip flop. So the Saints would go into, I don't know if they'd go into sixth or seventh. I mean, this whole entire thing is kind of confusing. It's kind of like, reading a road map, trying to, go
Yeah.
down the road.
I almost
But
just
I'm
had
going to,
an aneurysm looking at this because it says the Eagles are in seventh place, but they clinched the playoffs, and then the Niners are in the sixth seed right now, but they're still in the hunt technically. It's
Someone
crazy.
explain it to us like we're in kindergarten, please. I'm going to go with the 49ers on this one, though, Austin. I think this is a trap game for the Rams. I think the Niners need to win this. I'm going off of who needs it the most, and I'm going to go with the Niners.
I think I'll fade you on this one. Like we were talking about earlier,
Shocker.
a lot of those guys they brought in Rams and during the season, OBJ, Von Miller, they're starting to show up. And they're playoff guys. They've been there before. They're experienced. A lot is gonna ride on Matthew Stafford. We saw the two sides of Stafford, right? You love him, you hate him. He throws interceptions, pick six, but then he comes down, drives the ball down the field, wins the game in the fourth quarter. He's gonna have to play more of that and less of the, first version I mentioned. But I think they can get it done.
Yeah, I mean, the Niners were without Jimmy G today. They had Trey Lance. They got the win against the Texans. I think they do win, with Jimmy G. I don't think that Trey Lance can beat this Rams team. I don't think he has enough of the experience. I don't love Jimmy G regardless, but I don't see Trey Lance going in, to SoFi Stadium and beating the LA Rams.
Yeah.
Next game we got Seahawks at Cardinals, Austin. I'm beefing with DK, so I'm gonna have to side with the Cardinals on this one.
Yeah, I think I gotta ride with you on this one as well. I'm not sure that there's much implications for this, although I think if the Cardinals win, the Rams lose, they might take over the
They
division.
do jump. Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, Seahawks, they've been playing better in recent weeks, but I still got to ride with the Cardinals.
Last game, Austin. The Chargers at the Raiders.
Oh boy. Wait, so you're telling me we got to record a podcast next Sunday after you're going to be watching that game?
We may or may not.
Oh,
Shuck.
that's gonna be hell. You're either gonna be super happy and hammered, or you're gonna be super sad and hammered, and it's not gonna be fun for me either way.
Why would the happy and hammered be or a good time for you?
Because then I'm gonna have to look at your shit grin the whole time and fucking mustache going up into your nostrils.
Well,
Gonna be all giggly and giddy.
at that point, I'm gonna ride with the Raiders on this one. I want to be giggly and giddy and happy that the Raiders are going to the playoffs again. Big Tim gonna be at this game. He's bringing all the positive energy. He's gonna look Derek Carr in his beautiful blue eyes with my dad's beautiful blue eyes, and they're just gonna make a connection. And hopefully Waller's playing. You got Josh Jacobs running wild. I don't think this Chargers team is as good as everybody thinks. They have a lot of flaws. Obviously, they have the pieces. Sunday Night Football, though, is a different beast. And I think in Allegiant Stadium, the Raiders are always really good in prime time. And I trust them, and I love them, and I'm going to ride with them. Raiders.
Shocker there. No, I'm actually excited for this game. I think it'll be a good one. I'm not mad that it got flexed to the primetime spot. Although, Tyler, we know who I'm going with. The
Thank you.
hometown team, the Chargers, Herbert. They just got too many weapons. I could talk about them all day. They got a better defense. At home, on the road, on the moon, I got the Chargers over the Raiders.
Well, we'll see how that pans out for you, and we'll see how I'm feeling. I mean, we may not our podcast may just end right here. We might not have one next week. Depends on how I'm feeling. But season records, Austin, going in last week of the season, you are sitting at 143 and 109, and I am sitting at 151 and 102. Obviously, we still have that Steelers-Browns game tomorrow. But final season of next week, the witching hour is about to strike midnight for next week. So we'll see who is in and who is out. Live reactions next week after week 18. This was interesting. It was fun. We hope to do it again, and we will next week.
Unless Tyler's not feeling up to it. But most
No,
likely.
I'll be here regardless.
All right. I mean, either way, I thought we were airing it on Monday, but if we're airing it on Tuesday, we could do it pre-record on Monday if need be.
No, I mean, I think I'd rather get my live raw reactions on that game. This is probably one of the most exciting games of the season, definitely of the past, 4 or 5 years for us.
Yeah.
So and I mean, I got family there, so it's gonna be electric. I'm excited.
No, I mean, I'll say this, Tyler. I hope you have a good time.
Thank you. I won't
hope-
be
I hope-
wearing my Antonio Brown jersey though.
No, no. You can take that one off, storm over into the crowd, chuck up the deuces.
Do you think I should throw this into the Hillsborough River just like as like a peace offering to Tampa? I feel like I'm like a fugitive wearing this.
No, you definitely got to save it. And if something happens, like maybe next week if they lose, make one of those jersey burning videos and you can just use that.
Well, why are you saying if they lose? Why are you putting that out into the
I'm just saying, if the Raiders want to lose next week, and then
crazy? What
uh,
did they ever do to you besides lose to Brett Favre on Monday Night Football after his dad died? I mean, shit. All we do are punch it back to the Packers. Can't we just live?
actually, I had a Raiders like sweatshirt when I was a kid. I think it was a hand-me-down, but oddly enough, so
Well, I wish you
not
never
that
did.
means
I don't
anything, but
understand why you hate them.
I don't hate them. I just like getting you going. You know that.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever.
Uh,
All right.
it's been another installation of the No Look podcast here on Insane Games TV. Tune in next week to see Tyler's raw live reactions to the Raiders game in prime time. And as always, you don't got to go home, but you can't stay here. And until next time, Weezy out.